I'd like to call to order the meeting of the Public Safety Committee for Rutherford County for Monday, September the 23rd, 2024. Good to see each and every one of you here this evening. We'll begin with approval of our minutes, and I'll call on my Vice Chairman.
Thank you, Chairman. I've reviewed August minutes, found them to be in order. Move that be approved as mailed. Second.
Motion to approve and a second. All those in favor say aye. Aye. All those that do not approve, like same matter. It has been approved. We'll move on now. Public comments, and I think I've said we do not have any public comments for this evening. Go to item 3, Probation Report. Good evening, Ms. Haley.
Hello. On our report for August, you'll see that we terminated a total of 173 cases, which equaled 154 clients that we were able to close out for the month. During the month of August, we actively supervised 1,401 defendants. On our various classes and services, we had a total of 81 that were in class during the month, 21 that successfully completed, and 5 that were discharged unsuccessfully during the month. In the Tin Rocks Court in General Sessions, we have 17 current participants. There were not any completions or discharges this month. We will have a graduation next month with three of those clients. With our Olive Branch Pantry, we were able to assist 9 clients in some fashion, either with food or clothing or toiletries for the month. On the bottom, you have our financials, and for the month of August, we sent $8,358 to the clerks, which made that fiscal year total $21,349 to be collected. The amount that we were not able to turn over was $6,634 for a fiscal year total of $11,337. And during the month of August, we did supervise 12 clients that the court had deemed indigent, just meaning they're not required to pay the monthly supervision fee. That would be my report for the month, if anyone has any questions.
Commissioners, any questions, comments?
Question, please. When is your Tin Rocks graduation? I would ask, wouldn't I?
October the 7th at 2 p.m. That's not a normal Tin Rocks court date. They scheduled it so that it was separate from the normal monthly review meeting. I am like 99% certain it's the 7th at 2 p.m. I will check first thing in the morning. If it's not, I will send an email.
And your Olive Branch needs?
We're actually getting ready to do a food drive October the 1st through October the 15th. There was a flyer sent out to department heads for that today. A lot of what we're needing are like pull top, ready to eat things that someone that's in a hotel or homeless would be able to eat, but we do have a list of things that we're short on. I don't mind sending you that flyer as well if you would like it. Yes, ma'am.
All right, other questions or a motion would be acceptable? A motion to approve. Second. Further discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Those opposed? Report has been approved. Thank you. Correctional Work Center. Got the lieutenant tonight coming with us. Sir.
Good evening. As you can tell, I am not Superintendent Cope. Our monthly report for this month, in front of you, you'll see we have our Work Center Board meeting minutes. Everything was as normal. We have a work release program on pace to be the same as the month prior. We also have our yearly activity report. Again, same thing, very normal as on pace. Worker monthly report. Our inmate labor has saved the county $62,686. Next one, you will see our quarterly CQI meeting, which is our meeting with our medical department. Again, everything on pace with our prescriptions and everything is on point. You will also see our last one, and I'll read it for you. On August 27, 2024, the Rutherford County Correctional Work Center was audited by TCI for compliance with Tier 1 standards. TCI is the Tennessee Corrections Institute. The Work Center scored 100% of all applicable standards, meeting all mandatory standards, and meeting all but one optional standard, and that is only because our facility does not house pretrial inmates. If we did, we would have gotten 100 on that as well. The TCI Board of Control met on September 4th and approved our accreditation, and it presented us with our accreditation certificate. The next step, of course, will be to submit a stipend report to TDOC for their review and approval, which will accredit us for another year. When we are accredited, or hopefully when we are accredited for that extra year, we will get another $3 per day for each state inmate, which will bring it up to $44 per day. This will be submitted by October 1st. And that is our report from the Work Center.
Commissioners?
Motion to approve.
Approved.
Second.
Second. Further discussion? In favor, say aye. Opposed? Report has been approved, and congratulations on a good audit. Thank you, sir. Good job. All right, juvenile detention. Duke.
Good evening. In front of you, you should have our reports for the month of August. I can tell you that on the yearly activity report, we have received our checks from Montgomery County and Gibson County, so that's updated information for you. Additionally, after you ask any questions you may have regarding our report, I do have some more counties who are interested in contracting with us at that new rate we talked about at the last meetings, and can answer any questions you may have.
Have the report.
Question. So what is the capacity? You say you have other counties that are interested. What is our capacity compared to those counties that want to use our services?
So as of, okay, let me kind of do this chronologically. When the facility was built, it was a 64-bed capacity. We have just recently reduced that by 4 because we needed some programming space that we had in a dorm area. So it hasn't officially been changed with the state yet, but when they come to do our monitoring next month, we will drop to 60 total beds. These counties, if you'll recall, we originally had probably 45 or so counties that were contracting with us at a rate of $175. We have updated our contract, we've updated and increased our daily bed rate to $200, and there was some change in the language of that new contract as well. So we are going to be seeing these contracts, these new contracts, updated contracts sort of trickle in as the counties who currently have contracted with us historically are sending in their new and updated signed versions. Because just like our county, they have to go through a couple of committee processes as well. So it's everybody is not getting it done at the same time.
So these are updated contracts, not necessarily new contracts.
Correct.
So it's the same cap. So then my capacity question is moot then, because you're saying these are people that are counties we've already contracted with. It's just the update relative to the new fee and everything.
Yes, ma'am.
Gotcha. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Question. Else? Mr. James?
I move to approve.
Motion to approve. Second. All those in favor say aye. Those opposed? The report has been approved. I believe you have some contracts.
Okay, so as we just discussed, in front of you, you should have a updated contract for Franklin County, Gibson County, Marion County, Marshall County, and Weakley County. We currently do contract with these counties, so this is just new for the rate and the new language.
Okay, you have 5 or 6?
Oh, did I miss somebody? Franklin, Gibson, Marion, Marshall, if I didn't say them earlier, Weekly, and that's all.
And I have a Gibson? Okay. You have 6 that are in there.
Four, 5. Yes.
Okay. All right. Two of these 5. And we did this last month, I believe. We had basically the same thing. Floor is open for a motion to approve these 5.
Motion to approve all 5 county contracts.
Have a second?
I'll second it.
Had a second there. Further discussion? All
So
in
pretty
favor?
much everything in these is the same with the exception of the cost. Is there anything,
There is new language on page 1 under section 2 that was added at the request of our board, and the on page 3, the county attorney changed the way the date was, the take effect date was written in that last paragraph, or that last section.
okay, and what's the difference in paragraph 2?
This entire section has been added. This language was not originally in the contracts historically for the facility. This is new language that came about at the request of the board members.
The court order wasn't required before, but now they're requesting it.
They are required and have been required. The board members wanted it to additionally be stated in the contract.
Answer your questions? Satisfied with your question?
Not particularly, but we can move on.
Okay. Any other questions? Not call the roll.
Commissioner Beverly? Yes. Commissioner McMurray?
Yes.
Commissioner Sharino?
Yes.
Commissioner James?
Yes.
Commissioner Rather?
Yes.
Commissioner Oliver?
Aye.
Chairman Reed?
Yes.
Thank you.
That's it, isn't it?
Yes, the last thing, it's normally in the front, I just set it up a little differently, is the minutes from our board meeting for October. So that might have been what you saw and thought was that additional contract.
I was seeing something else here, and that's what I was going by, so, all right. Okay,
Thank you.
thank you. All right, moving now into emergency services.
Excuse me, Mr. Chairman, we didn't move to accept her report, just the contracts. So don't we have the motion to accept her report? The motion was to accept the contracts, not necessarily her report.
Yeah, we did.
Oh, we did accept her report?
Yeah.
The additional piece was afterwards then. I got you. Thank you.
Subject to not doing that at times, and I appreciate you making, checking us with that. Sure thing. All right, emergency services. Director, Chris Clark.
Chairman, Commission. Hopefully, in front of you, you have our August 1st through August 31st, 2024 report. Some of the things that I like to highlight is 7 field responses, anything from missing people to fuel spills, things like that. Also, again, we conducted a August 5th exercise at Siegel High School, multi-jurisdictional, multiple disciplines. After that, we had after actions with the ones that were involved. To let you know that the program is well up and running, but our telecommunicators are in the schools now, in the high schools, and hopefully getting our students interested in becoming dispatchers. Here recently, they were at a school and went up there and spoke to those students, and they had multiple questions, a lot of interest, and we're hoping to see some of our younger generations start becoming telecommunicators. Also, we've been working a lot with our shelters, putting in policies, finding ways of activation, putting kennels upstairs ready to go in the event that somebody brings an animal. Thanks to our PAWS partners, they've donated, we have about 5 kennels in each public safety center upstairs on the mezzanine, and then hopefully we'll bring those down during an activation of the shelter so that if somebody brought a pet, it's not out roaming around, and hopefully the pet will fit in those kennels. So, also, we've done something a little unique, also to activate our shelters to get it to the citizens, and I'll go ahead and show that to you. So one of the things is we find it difficult to let citizens know what shelter, if the shelters are activated, if they're closed. In the event of a large incident, we can direct some people so they can go in and download this app. Thanks to our OIT department that actually created this app. Thanks to our PIO that helped us put information into this. So it was a big partner group to hopefully get information out. So we're going to be doing, this is the first time we've actually said anything about this. This has been going on since about January. So we can activate that app. We can push out that, hey, these shelters are open, or if it's big enough, hey, we're going to evacuate these areas, whatever it may be. We will first notify the social media. We'll use that social media link to put into our push message notification. And then we'll do other, we've got News Channel 5 as partners and things like that. So multiple ways to let people know where there's shelters and bad weather's coming. So hopefully people will catch on to that. Also, we at 911 ECD, the board has voted to change over our notification system from Everbridge to Rave. So we're working with that to transfer all that data over. What does that mean to the citizens? Nothing any different. What it means to us is that we're going to be working behind the scenes to take that data and put it into another system. So make it hopefully a little bit user friendly. And that's my report.
Commissioners?
Quick question. What's the app for? Is it for Apple and, well, iPhones and Android? Mm-hmm. Was it RC
Yeah,
EMA?
RCMA. Okay. Or you can put in Rutherford County and just search it.
Perfect. Thank you.
Other questions?
Motion to approve.
To approve, do I have a second?
Second.
Second. All those in favor say aye. Those opposed? Thank you, sir. Good report. All right, emergency medical. Ryan Gaither, Director.
Evening. For the month of August, we had a total of 3,716 calls, response time of 6 minutes and 55 seconds. We had 175 DOAs for the month. 24 of those went for autopsy at a cost of $60,000, 52 for fiscal year at a cost of $130,000. Our collections were $756,717. It was down just a little bit for the month, but we had a coding issue with Medicare that has been resolved, and it was almost 700 claims, so you should see that increase next month. The next page, some in-services and training, community relation events, and special event coverages. The convalescent division did 406 calls, collected 84,750. This also down. A lot of those Medicare claims that had to be refiled were from this division. And then next few pages is that more detailed report, but I was noticing that those out of zone, the calls that went on in Smyrna that were not a Smyrna truck, that got messed up this month, and I thought we fixed it, but when this printed, I guess it didn't. But I do know that number was 85 for the month, so which has been a little increase over the past few months. That's my report.
Commissioners,
Move to approve.
motion to approve. Second. Further discussion? In favor say aye. And those opposed, the report has been approved. I believe you've got a budget amendment?
Yes, sir. We're asking to utilize donations remaining from the prior fiscal year and recognize current fiscal year donations and appropriate those funds for EMS Week.
West. Second. Discussion. Call the roll.
Commissioner Beverly? Yes. Commissioner McMurray?
Yes.
Commissioner Sharino?
Yes.
Commissioner James?
Yes.
Commissioner Rather?
Yes.
Commissioner Oliver?
Aye.
Chairman Reed?
Yes.
Thank y'all.
Then one thing that was kind of added last minute today, Denise called me this afternoon. We were up here a few months ago asking to apply for an extension of her BGA grant that she has that's funding her 2 death investigators. She found out today that grant was extended, so it's extended for approximately 6 more months. So just kind of working through that process of accepting that grant. Thanks.
One thing I wanted to pass on to my fellow commissioners here before he steps down. I rode along with a crew of his last Friday night. Went for a couple hours. I stayed quite a bit longer than I initially planned to. But I highly suggest that all of y'all call Brian here and set up your own ride-along. Kind of see the why behind the why and see some of the, understand some of the costs and the valuations for the monies that they're asked and the needs of some of the different funds when they come in. It really, I guess that visual experience and actually connecting the dots, see the slowness of the moment to how uprooted it becomes and how nonstop it is, so, or can be, could do all of us a lot of good, and I would highly recommend that the rest of y'all, if you haven't already, set something up to also ride along with his department.
Well,
If you're interested, just give me a call.
for how long? 1 hour is it? Right long.
Want to do a ride along? Oh. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. And thank you, commissioners, for taking the extra time to do that. Very important. All right, fire rescue report. Farley.
For the month of August, we had 865 calls. Total year-to-date, 6,348 calls. We had, so far through August, we've had 55 structure fires, 94 brush fires, 90 illegal burns, 90 vehicle fires, 54 hazmat, 21 water rescues, 689 MVAs, and 17 of those were with extrication. Mutual aid, 42, 127 fire alarms, 3,350 medical calls, and for a total of 6,914 calls year-to-date. The next sheet is what we turn into the tax assessor and the building codes. We had 9 installations on smoke alarms. And then the next sheet is showing the fire marshal's OSHA investigation report. And he advised me this is the highest case level they've had so far. So August was a busy month for our fire marshal's office. And then the last sheet is showing the unauthorized illegal burning in those locations. And I informed the mayor this morning that Saturday night at 11:15, we were called out to the landfill. There was a fire on top of the landfill. Two units from Las Casas and Walt Hill responded. Once they got on top of that mountain, they had a large fire and they started extinguishing it with water. But they had 3 emergency contacts we tried to contact to get somebody to come up and operate a dozer to smother it. And all 3 of those nobody answered them. So that morning, Sunday morning at 6:28, we got called back up there, and I guess the fire reignited, and there was one employee from Republican up there, and they said that they would try to get somebody up there to operate the dozer. So we went up there twice. When we've actually had 4 fires on the landfill since about last year and a half. So I wanted to pass that along to you for your information. And that concludes my report.
Chief, you went up on top of the landfill with our equipment.
Yes, sir.
Did you experience any mechanical problems?
No, sir, but most time if we go up there, we usually have to replace some tires, and I haven't, as far as I know, I haven't been notified of the issue yet.
Could any way to recover that cost? Asking Republic to...
Well, if I have an issue, I don't mind asking them, but I would be very shocked if they offered to replace them.
If you have to replace them, I would suggest that you...
Send them a bill?
Send them a bill.
I'd be more than happy to do that.
Question. That morning when you said a Republic employee was there, was there an attempt to get correct emergency contact information?
We asked him about it. He just said he would call somebody to get somebody there with a dozer, but I'm going to try to reach out to Republican and tell them we need at least 3 contacts. I know I've been up there before years ago, and I was able to call for help, and I had 2 or 3 people show up, but that was on a Saturday, on a Saturday afternoon. That's been about 15 years ago. But there was 3 phone numbers. We called one guy. He didn't answer the phone. He said, I don't longer work with Republic. He said, I'm actually with TDAC. And he said, I appreciate you letting me know it's on fire, though. So, and also, I did notify Bishop Wagner and told him what we responded to. And I sent him our reports and also the cab report from dispatch. And he sent that on TDAC, notified TDAC of it.
Questions? Motion.
Move to approve.
Approve. Second. All those in favor say aye. Those opposed?
Thank you.
Report has been approved. Let me say one thing. I don't know if y'all realize it or not, but we have 2 of our public safety buildings that are already a year old. Hard to believe, but we have celebrated a year anniversary Rockville and Kittrell are now a year old. If you ask those guys out there, they'd tell you the same thing, because they have been running. Hard to catch them in there. In fact, when you do that, and Rockville went out there, I went by on their anniversary and carried them ice cream. It was a real hot day, and I thought this is something they need. But both those communities, they're very. I think at Kittrell, is there not a spots out there again this year?
I don't remember exactly what day it is, but they were going to do 2 hours, and I think they decided to do 3 hours of free flu shots. Since Chairman brought that up, I would like to say I live in Las Casas, and that was one of the last ones opened up before Walter Hill. I was sitting there, of course, I listen to the radio all the time. My wife loves it when I do that. But I was listening to the radio, and they called out a stroke. And it was just right across the street from our road. And I heard them, once they called it out, our guys were there in less than 2 minutes. And I've just heard a lot of comments from the community of Las Casas and the Walter Hill both, how much people appreciate having that service out there. And when the ambulance and the fire truck can get there within 2 minutes, then lives are saved. So it's I've got some really good feedback from our neighbors and people out in the community, and that always makes us feel good about what we do. Thank you.
Mr. Chairman, in addition to when I did the ride-along Friday night, there was that accident out there that I saw your crew from Walter Hill and from Las Casas out there. And then I saw several of the deputies out there mixed with EMS. So, of course, I rode along with the EMS supervisor, but when I got there, it was kind of just falling on his hip, didn't want to be in the way, just kind of just seeing it unravel. It was good to see the professionalism from each different group doing their own thing, running the circles back and forth, keeping each other in the loop, but still maintaining their elements of the job. And just to see that breakdown, that despite differences in uniform or differences in personalities or whatever, they were able to come together to do the job in that moment and get it all done. It was kind of almost like an orchestra, I would say. So it was an interesting sight. So both your crews worked really well there, too.
Appreciate that. One of the things I enjoy, I've been doing this 35 years, and when we get on a scene of MVA and there's entrapment and we have to do extrication, it's amazing how the Sheriff's Office, EMS, and fire all work like a team, and we got each other's back. So it's a really good relationship out there and really good work environment.
Thank you, Chief. We'll begin item 9, Sheriff's Office report.
Yes, sir. Good evening. Our inmate population this morning was 999. This afternoon, 986. Last month, we discussed the capacity of the jail. We have certified bed capacity is 960 with 85% per TCI. Its max would be 816 beds. Our openings for divisions, communications of 7, detectives 5, detention 29, narcotics 4, SROs 3, and patrol is 13. We had one just recently this afternoon turn his notice in from patrol to go to Murfreesboro City. That's the end of my report.
Questions?
Any of these positions worked on being filled via in-house promotions that are in the works right now, or?
Some of the narcotics positions are waiting for patrol to get fully staffed so they can release their promotions to go work for narcotics. Same as detectives also.
So essentially, you have them chosen. You can't release them because you have too many holes already in that.
Right. Yeah. We have to backfill them before we can let them go. We can't afford to let patrol be shorthanded. Then we already are.
Security that we've had here at the courthouse, he has now gone.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir, that is correct.
Do we have a
Can you speak to the capacity It looks like you're over.
Yes, ma'am, we're over. Currently we have 275 state inmates, 266 of those males and 9 females. They came and picked up 12 a couple weeks ago, but we're just full. It's just bad time of the year.
So you have others waiting to be picked up, or?
Yes, ma'am, we're waiting on 275 state inmates to be picked up by the state.
Okay. And are the 275, are they in holding, or have they been sentenced, or they just?
Yes, ma'am, they've been sentenced to the state. They're waiting on the pen to come pick them up.
Gotcha.
State has a similar problem.
I just know we spend a lot of money housing unsentenced people, so I was just curious.
Yes, ma'am.
Chairman?
Chief, on line item 718 motor vehicles, you spent 1.7 million bucks. Did you buy new cars?
Yes, sir.
What kinds did you buy?
25 Dodge Durangos. They're on the state contract this year, and then 4 unmarked for our SWAT members.
So you spent your money early?
Yes, sir. Get them while we can. Yes. It does.
Chief,
Yes, sir.
how many do we have graduating from Toledo this week?
6, I believe.
Okay, so that could help when the backflow into the patrol and feeds in. It's a 3-month process from the moment they get in the academy.
Yes, sir.
When we can do anything.
Right. And those 6 are not included in our openings. Whenever we have somebody at the academy, I count them as a field spot.
Motion to approve if you don't have one.
Approved.
Second.
Second. In favor, say aye. Those opposed? We have three budgets.
Yes, sir. This first one is to provide additional funds for overtime needed for employees covering vacant positions in Family Medical Leave Act and Detention. Ask and take $500,000 from guard salary and place it into their overtime line item.
Heard the request. Approve. Second. Discussion.
Are these funds for positions that you're trying to hire from? Or they just an overage, or?
It's the open positions we have that we save on the salary. We were able to pull it from salaries and put it into the overtime line item.
Mm-hmm. And so then you won't be trying to fill those positions?
Yes, ma'am. It's the money that we've saved from July 1 to current, pulling that salary out.
I see now. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Favor. Call roll. I think we've already done that one. Okay. Call the roll.
Commissioner Beverly?
Yes.
Commissioner McMurray?
Yes.
Commissioner Sharino?
Yes.
Commissioner James?
Yes.
Commissioner Rather?
Yes.
Commissioner Oliver?
Aye.
Chairman Reed?
Yes.
Thank you.
This amendment is being recognized for the final quarter of the financial year 24 Police Traffic Safety Grant Program for the Sheriff's Department to recognize the remaining balance of Tennessee Highway Safety Grant to be utilized for overtime and related benefits for authorized alcohol and sobriety checkpoints, as well as checkpoint equipment. The request adds the carryover from last year's to current budget. This grant ends September the 30th of this year. This grant requires no match. This amendment also recognizes the new financial year 25 Police Traffic Safety Grant for overtime related benefits and funds for message board to be used in conjunction with checkpoints and Tennessee Highway Safety Campaign. This would be used to support operations such as Click It or Ticket, Booze It or Lose It among the 4 checkpoints that the Sheriff's Office conducts in conjunction with the Rutherford County Task Force. Period performance is October 1st, 24 through September the 30th of 25. There's no match. Asking to move the $28,250 from last year's financial year and accept $150,000 for this year's grant and place $129,550 into the overtime line item, $8,031 into Social Security, $15,392 into pension, $1,877 into the Medicare, and $23,400 into law enforcement equipment.
Have a motion. Motion's approved.
Second.
And a second. Further discussion? Call the roll.
Commissioner Beverly? Yes. Commissioner McMurray?
Yes.
Commissioner Sharino?
Yes.
Commissioner James?
Yes.
Commissioner Rather?
Yes.
Commissioner Oliver?
Aye.
Chairman Reed?
Yes.
Thank you.
This amendment is being requested for the final quarter of the financial year 2014 Driver Safety Grant Program for the Sheriff's Office to recognize the remaining balance of the Tennessee Highway Safety Grant to be utilized for SRO overtime and related benefits for teen events. The request adds the carryover from last year to current budget year. This grant ends September 30th for 24. This grant requires no match. This amendment also recognizes the financial year 25 teen driver safety grant for overtime related benefits for teen events. Period of performance is October 1st, 24 through September 30th of 25, no match. Requesting to roll over $776, receive the $20,000, placing $17,385 into overtime, $1,077 into Social Security, $2,063 into pension, and $251 in Medicare.
Request.
Move to approve.
To approve.
Second.
Second. Discussion. Call the roll.
Commissioner Beverly? Yes. Commissioner McMurray?
Yes.
Commissioner Sharino?
Yes.
Commissioner James?
Yes.
Commissioner Rather?
Yes.
Commissioner Oliver?
Aye.
Chairman Reed?
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Vince.
Yes, sir.
Oh, real quick, I would like to personally thank our school resource officers and the entire department as a whole. The past few weeks has been a little busy, I would say.
Yes, sir.
But I would also encourage our parents to get involved with your children so these threats and this violence can stop. Because we're pulling resources from, if they have to respond to schools, off the streets. So I just want to say I thank you all and our school resource officers for all that you are doing. And hopefully things will calm down and get better.
We hope so too. And thank you. I'll pass it along to the SROs and other deputies. Yes, sir, we do.
I'm the new director now. Did you hear?
Y'all have a good night.
Thank you, sir. Pause.
No Vols.
Couldn't let that go, Commissioner. Good evening, sir.
Good evening. For the month of August, we had 421 animals come into the shelter. Our euthanasia rate was 4.7%. Live release rate for dogs was 90.8% and cats was 94.5%. Our surgery programs had 200 animals come through. We had our officers complete out 1,142 calls, traveling 7,611 miles. Fiscal year to date, 858 animals into the shelter, a euthanasia rate of 6%, a live release of 90.4%, completed out almost 2,300 calls, traveling 15,654 miles. Our rabies exposure and bite report for the month of August, there were 43 bites. 4 of those were sent for testing. 1 of them did come back positive. 4 other exposures, none of those sent off for testing. The one that came back as a positive is an unsatisfactory result. It was a skunk. There wasn't enough material there to be able to test, so it does count as a positive. It was a dog that got into it with a skunk. That's the end of the report.
You've heard the report. Any questions?
Michael, I'm just curious on the for the you have 84 animals left in the shelter at the end of the month. 1,160 people visited. With that ratio, about how many visitors do you get per adoption?
I've never actually broken that down. Those folks that are coming in, though, aren't always looking for adoptions. Those are folks that come in that could be looking for their lost pet. It's anyone that comes into the front lobby. They may be there for general information. They may just be browsing. A lot of different things that they come in. We have seen historically that number go down. And after some thought on that, I believe it's mainly because of some of the things that we've done to try to become more customer friendly as far as having our animals out on the website and those type things. So I think it's kind of a double-edged sword. We've seen the number go down, but we do have the website that folks can utilize without having to come into the shelter every time.
And have you seen kind of, or do you think you've seen the edge of during the COVID years where everybody got a dog and then right afterwards they chose to give them up?
It's more so that we've seen the adoptions change. I think every available home that had a spot for an animal adopted, so our adoptions have gone down, and that's not just our shelter, that's every shelter. So I think I've kind of seen some of the other folks, directors say this as well, that we're kind of anxious to see, when we get post-COVID, probably that 7 to 10 year range, will we start to see those adoptions go back up as some of those pets that were adopted during COVID pass away. But as far as animals entering the shelters being full, that's across the country. It's not changed. I don't see it changing anytime soon, unfortunately.
Question. The kennels that you were able to put in the public safety building, how did that impact your inventory? Were they extras or were they purchased or?
No, we didn't purchase those. We have, those are donated all the time. So we're constantly have a backlog of those. We have a mini barn there at our shelter that's full of those. So if they're needed for emergency situation, we also have another mini barn located on the north end of the county that's full just in case. So 5 for each of those 4, 5, 6 shelters. Didn't make a dent in it at all.
Motion to approve. Second. All those in favor say aye. Those opposed, your report has been approved.
Thank you all. Have a good night.
Thank you.
Michael, before you leave, can you update us on your feral cat neutering program? A couple of years ago, I was kind of excited about that process. Where does it stand today?
Well, I think the biggest thing that you can look at is the euthanasia percentage. When you look at our cats, I never thought that our cat euthanasia rate would be less than our dogs. We're at 2.8% on our cats, so it's made a huge difference in cats being able to go out. Just for last month, you'll see on the top of the second page, there were 57 cats that were released through our TNR program. Before we had that program, every one of those animals would have been put down. So it's made a very significant impact on our euthanasia rate and animal population, not seeing near the number of feral litters coming into the shelter and those type things. So it's been very successful in my mind. Thank you for asking that.
OSHA, Mr. Ed Elam, as he's coming forward, we mentioned these kennels for the public safety buildings. That all come about through, I guess you could say, experience from some of those. And we really didn't think about the fact they would bring all of their pets and all those would show up. And you have individuals that show up with these pets, and some individuals are not. Of the about that we could place the dogs and cats in these where we could separate them. And somebody might come in with a dog and somebody come in with a cat. Well, then you've got a problem there because the dog doesn't like the cat and the cat doesn't like the dog, and you got a problem there. So we're trying to come up with ways to deal with those situations. So we're learning, I guess is what you would say. Gregory providing this for us. So where that's at. And it's sort of like what you're saying, Commissioner James. We all try to work together to make these things work for us. Sir?
Good evening, Commissioners. Ed Elam, Insurance and Risk Management Director. For your month of August, you will see you had a total of 43 incidents. Incident frequency for the calendar year, 175. Total recordables, 128. Lost day claims, 26. Restricted day claims, 86. Other recordables, 16. On-the-job injuries, you see 175 for 2024, 150 for 2023, 119 for 2022. On the job injury incurred dollars, you see 1.029 million for 2024, 2023, 483,000, 2022, 437,000. And then the last page, cause of injuries, you'll see the Board of Education had 26, County General had 17. And in the County Journal, you had 1 building codes, 1 EMS, 12 at the sheriff, 3 at solid waste, for a total of 17. And that concludes my report, Mr. Chairman.
Questions for Mr. Elam? Or motion? Motion to approve.
Second.
Second. Further discussion? All those in favor say aye. Those opposed? It is approved.
Thank you. Y'all have a good evening.
Thank you, sir. Recovery Court.
Good evening. The Recovery Court report for August. We have currently 56 in our drug court program with 48 in the application process. We have 22 in our day program, or 25 in our night program, with a total of 27 applications somewhere in the process. In our mental health court program, we have 63 with 49 applications pending. And in our veterans court, we have 20 with 4 applications pending. We had 6 completions and 1 termination, and a total of 186 participants. I did want to add some information about our reentry program, because we don't talk about that one often. Currently, we have 51 participants in our Correctional Work Center, and they are doing programs and case management. We have 31 participants at the Adult Detention Center who are doing programs and case management. We have 8 people on the waiting list at the Work Center and 150 on the waiting list at the Adult Detention Center. We have 8 currently enrolled in our TCAP program, and 27 have completed OSHA certifications at both the Correctional Work Center and the Adult Detention Center. And that concludes my report.
Report. Any questions? Approve.
Second.
Second. Further discussion? Favor say aye. Opposed? Your report has been approved, and I believe you have a budget amendment.
Yes, so back in March, I think I asked to apply for a SAMHSA grant for our recovery court programs. We have been awarded that grant. It is no match. The budget amendment is to recognize a new grant awarded on 8/28/24 from the Department of Health and Human Services. The funds will be used to enhance our programs for participants for all 4 of our recovery court programs. This project includes occupational therapy, vocational training, advanced trauma-informed care, equity-based interventions, support and education for participants' families, increased drug screening, and some direct client assistance and staff training. This is a no-match grant for a period of 5 years. The total funding of the project is $1,734,970. And we are asking to accept this award.
Questions or a motion?
Second.
Motion and a second.
Can I get just a moment, please?
Second. Who made? Didn't you? Okay. Any other further discussion?
Commissioner Beverly? Yes. Commissioner McMurray?
Yes.
Commissioner Sharino?
Yes.
Commissioner James?
Yes.
Commissioner Rather?
Yes.
Commissioner Oliver?
Aye.
Chairman Reed?
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you. I just wanted to let the committee know that there'll be some contract agreements we do have to get signed. We're going to be working on those, or take a little bit longer, but I hope to have them ready to present at the next public safety meeting. Okay.
Thank you. Have other business? I would like to say something. This is our beginning for this next year, this evening, and I just want to commend each of you, because each of you are very much involved as commissioners. What you do as far as public safety, as what you report on here, seems like each meeting, each one of you are doing something totally different. Add to what you do as far as public safety committee, and I appreciate that. And just like we've recently had a full regional meeting of commissioners, I go there, and there's Commissioner Oliver there for that meeting, which is, I was glad to see that, because I was going to be there by myself if I didn't have another commissioner there. And then we have ride-alongs. We have, I never know where Commissioner McMurray will show up. He's somewhere involved in this somewhere, and all of you, and then of course Commissioner Beverly is a police officer himself, and a former police officer over here. So this is a very good committee, one in the military that's here that knows some of this, what we're doing. So this is a good group in what I'm saying, and I really appreciate you. I appreciate you and what you do, and you know, it seems like as we first began to where we are now, we have jailed to who we are and what we do, and I'm looking forward to this year as we go forward. That's what I'm trying to tell you. If there's nothing else to discuss, we are adjourned.